I got your first appearance of Kid Loki right here. Okay, not really. This is actually a 1968 reprint of stories that appeared in Tales to Astonish earlier in the 60s. But my point being that I'm not sure I understand this whole Kid Loki craze. I realize now, as I didn't just a few days ago, that the new Kid Loki is a kind of a reincarnation or I don't know. Loki made a deal with Hela before he died, and now there's a new Loki, Kid Loki, and I don't get it all. I'm just pointing out the history. The history is that this is a collection, the first reprinting of the great Stan Lee, Jack Kirby stories of the Tales of Asgard. It's great because it's all together, and it does have an original Kirby cover. I'm just saying, I'm not sure I understand the whole reinventing characters, kind of like the Sons of Batman and Superman. When the Sons of Batman and Superman actually were done back in the Bronze Age, but they were hot for a while, and now they're not. You know, hey, I'm an old comics curmudgeon, and that's just the way it is. A few finds, a few great things that I've found in the last few weeks. A few dollar comics, believe it or not. Now this is one that I pick up all the old Spire comics I can find. These were Christian comics from the Bronze Age. I picked that up for $1. The story of Tom Landry. Tom Landry was a class act, known as a class act in football even back in the 70s, and he had a faith, and that was great. The neat thing about that is that that's actually a reprint. No, I'm sorry, that is the first print, and I had the reprint with a different cover, the kind of the Shield logo cover, and I really liked that. The Spires were printed and reprinted and given different color covers and some of them. And so anyway, neat dollar find there. Actually, both of those were dollar finds within the last year or two. Actually, another great dollar find was well, my 4th or 5th copy of Teen Titans, the New Titans, I'm sorry, number 99 from July of 1993. And this was the first appearance of Arsenal. This is Speedy's next, or his new persona. All right, and so he was deadlier, more gritty, more edgy, as all of the heroes were going back in the 90s. So anyway, that's a great, just kind of a neat book to have, because the way comic book movies are going and comic book animated movies are going, sooner or later there'll be a Arsenal story out there, and or story comes to the big screen somewhere, and there you go. So that's a great one to have. Plus, he just became a cooler character. All right, found that in the dollar box. Now this was the best dollar find, and yeah, it's a little bit messed up, but this is a Golden Age 2-gun Western #7 Atlas Comics, Golden Age Atlas Comics, and a little bit of cover missing there. Actually, a lot of cover missing there, but for a dollar book, that's a great find. That's a steal. And I don't actually remember what. Let's just kind of break that open and see what we have in there. Shouldn't say break that open, should I? Copyright 1956. We have, opening up, we have a very early Joe Sinnott story. Can't see it. I'll try to zoom in a little bit, but right there it says Joe Sinnott. And so, it opens with a Joe Sinnott story, Joe Sinnott art anyway. And so it's just some neat old Western stories. Sid Shores, and there's an old Sid Shores story there. And just some neat, just neat golden, for $1. That's a piece of comic book history for $1. Golden Age history. So anyway, dollar finds. Dollar finds are great. All right. Next, a couple of Daredevil comics I actually found at a local flea market. For $2 a piece, I got a really nice copy of Daredevil number 127 with the appearance of the torpedo in there. And I always liked the torpedo stories from the old Marvel ROM series from back in the 80s. And liked how he kind of became a supporting character in the ROM stories. And then a copy of Daredevil number 146. I've always liked that Gil Kane cover. I think I mentioned before that there are very few Gil Kane covers that I really like. Gil Kane just never did it for me. I give him props and respect for for doing some major Marvel stories over the years, but that is a great cover, kind of a bullseye cover as well. And so Daredevil number 146 in very decent shape, a little crease down the, and a little bit of a color break and a crease down the cover, but for $2, I'll take it. All right. Now I got I've mentioned that I like gimmick covers quite a bit. And this is one of those very few Wizards that I've gone after. But this is the Wizard Superman Tribute Edition, done at the time that they were killing Superman. All right? And it's got that nice foil cover. I'm not sure how well that comes across. But got the nice foil cover with him slugging it out with Doomsday. And that is a gatefold cover that opens up. But it's kind of a nice foil cover and just a lot of fun. Now, I had mentioned a while back that I was into the Captain Canuck series. Picked up another copy of number 2, and which is good. I like to have a couple of copies of the comics that are a little bit harder to find. And number 11 of the series, and I didn't have that one before. So that'll go in. I'm gonna gather them all before I read the whole. I think there's 14 in the original series, and then the first comics, Captain Canuck Summer Special. And that's not one that just pops up all the time, so grab that. I'll tell you, the old George Freeman art is just amazing. If you've never looked him up, do that. Let's see, going in way of chronologically here. Evidently, I didn't realize this, but Captain Canuck was brought back, revitalized, if you will, 1993, early 90s, by Simple Comics, and this is Captain Canuck number 0, and Captain Canuck Reborn, and then I did get Captain Canuck number 1, and so I keep blocking my face there. Of course, that's probably not a bad thing, but anyway, so some Captain Canuck comics, and then finally Captain Canuck number 0, a free comic day comic, and then also Captain Canuck number 1, year 1, number 1, free comic book day as well. And so Captain Canuck all day long. All right. Now, recently I went to my favorite comic shop, Comic Empire of Tulsa, Mike McCormick. If you've never looked at the little mini doc that is on my channel of Comic Empire of Tulsa, check it out. It's a great store. If you're ever in Tulsa, the Tulsa area, you should definitely check it out. Mike's a great guy, and it's a comic that it's Oklahoma's oldest comic shop. But I went into Mike's, and I've been getting a lot of the titles and the books I had when I was younger. Pure nostalgia, but also really great stories, well done stories. So here's Amazing Spider-Man 192, okay? And the Amazing Spider-Man, the 180s, well, and even back to the 70s and before, the Ross Andrew art, but then into the art where oh, I just forgot his name. Keith Pollard, there you go. Keith Pollard began doing the art chores, and underrated artist, I think. But that was during Keith Pollard's run, and Spider-Man and Jonah Jameson shackled together with a time bomb. Just great stuff. The angst was high in this run of Amazing Spider-Man. I'm not going to give anything away because in all actuality, in all reality, there are people out there who haven't read it yet. But Amazing Spider-Man 196, Standing by Graveside. Whose grave is that? Hit those stories and you'll find out. And if you can't afford the original issues, grab the Marvel, well, not the Marvel Milestones, Marvel Essentials, the black and white reprints. I like the black and white reprints. Number 197, a throwdown with the Kingpin. And number 198, throwdown with Mysterio. And hey, Mysterio is going to be in the Far From Home movie. And so there you go. There's a great Mysterio cover, and gotta love that. And then another Mysterio cover, 199, all leading up to the fantastic number 200 issue that just blew my mind as a kid, as an 11-year-old kid, just amazed by that story. And I won't give any of it away, but it's great stuff. Lastly, when I went into Comic Empire a few days ago to get my new books, mostly to get my new Immortal Hulk issue, great series, by the way. That series is doing amazing things on back issue market. But anyway, I got Marvel has rolled out again the Crypt of Shadows. I'll be real honest with you. I haven't even opened this up to read it, but there was one copy of this particular variant left, and I had to get it because it was so it just so evocative of the Bronze Age series, Crypt of Shadows, and that logo there and everything. Loved the font, and it just brought back memories. And so just like the mood of that cover and everything, so I had to grab that. And anyway, there you go. Hey, there you have it. That's it. That's it. I'm actually going to do a follow-up video on this very quickly to talk about John's Comics with Kids has asked people to tell I think tell a story, and then also that a comic that a kid would enjoy, and then also suggest a couple of titles for kids. I've got the titles for kids because I still love comics that appeal to kids, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to come up with a story that's relatable, but I'll definitely have a couple of picks for kids. Hey, thanks for watching 4 Color Commentary. If you haven't subscribed yet, do that, and we'll see you next video.